It's been years since we first heard about Starfield, and in the lead up to the broad release, gamers' excitement is palpable. I mean, look at them. Trust me, for socially awkward gamers, that's really, really excited. But will you even be able to run it? Now, obviously, Bethesda publishes minimum and recommended specs for the game. So yes, you will, but what they don't tell you is what kind of resolution and what kind of details you're gonna be running at. So we built up 3 rigs. The minimum rig with a Radeon 5700, the recommended rig with an RTX 2080, and, for good measure, a top-of-the-line machine with an RTX 4090. And we are going to be playing Starfield!
Yeah.
We're gonna start with the recommended configuration. This is how Bethesda wants the game to be played. That is, unless you're on an Xbox, in which case you're gonna be at 4K 30 FPS on the Series X. Personally, I think I'd rather turn the resolution down and go for higher frame rate, but hey, we're gonna play around with that, all right? On that note, I'm setting up capture right now, and what resolution are we targeting here? I'm capturing at 1080, but...
It doesn't really say. The recommended specs, just give the hardware. It doesn't tell you the resolution target.
Okay. I'm gonna capture at 4K, and then we're just gonna kind of set it to whatever.
I can sit cross-legged, unlike you.
You laughing? You laughing, Mr. Flexible Boy? Let's see you touch your toes, smart guy.
I can't.
Is this the screen people hated so much?
This is.
Oh.
I actually don't mind it at all, except for that thing in the corner. Because you know that's
Seasons pass!
Yeah, they're just prepping you like, hey, there's gonna be something here. I like these menus though, I think they look great.
Yeah, looks like pretty much all the stuff that I would want to change.
Motion blur's on.
Okay, render resolution. Clearly what we're targeting then is about 1440p. So let's set it to 100 and then set it to 1440p. Wait, everything I'm doing is wrong. What we should be doing is running at the recommended settings on the recommended computer.
But we don't know what they are. Oh.
It's whatever's in here. We've got a Ryzen 3600X, 16 gigs of DDR4 memory, not top spec, but a pretty decent kit, a Gen 3 NVMe drive, and an RTX 2080. And I'm gonna let the game tell me how to run it.
I think if this is the plan, we should evaluate what it sets as the default setting.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things in here that I super duper don't agree with. I like that we're running it all high, so we're gonna get to see a lot of effects. I don't like that, actually I don't like anything about this. It's all on high. So for things like crowd density, I can see why they want the world to feel populated.
It's gonna make it feel more real. That's probably good. It's supposed to be a game you immerse yourself into.
Yep, they've cranked up the graphics presets, so we've got indirect lighting and high volumetric lighting and that kind of cool stuff like that. But if I can't run at my native resolution, you can see we're targeting about 1440p here with 62% and then upscaling. Do I really want to be wasting cycles on post-processing like film grain and motion blur? Also, upscaling is just the default behavior on top of rendering at a lower resolution scale. So this might not look that great. Also, VSync on by default. Ploof, have you played 6 hours of this game already? Did you even sleep last night?
No, that's just 6 in the morning. That's 6 a.m. I'm only like an hour and a half in.
Yeah, that's so much healthier, getting up at 6 in the morning to play video games before work.
I might have played for around 6 hours though.
Maybe we'll have to try Luke's save and see if there's some interesting stuff later on.
I'm on Mars.
Way to go, Elon.
Yeah, I beat him to it.
This looks and feels like crap immediately.
The motion.
Uh-oh, you guys see that? There were some hitches and stutters in our screen capture that were not representative of real-world gameplay. So while all the over-the-shoulder footage you guys see will be from our gaming session, all the capture that you see will be from a separate recording that was made in the studio at exactly the same in-game settings. This looks and feels like crap immediately.
The motion blur. Is that motion blur that I'm feeling?
Yeah, it's motion blur and it's also not running at a very high frame rate.
Yeah, are we gonna get frame view or something?
Frame view is on the computer.
We're gonna fire it up. First, I want to experience it.
Sure, yeah, fair enough.
But I can tell you right now, we're running at about 35,
You can
maybe
feel
40 FPS, yeah.
This feels like what I would expect from a console right now.
We're managing to get a ton of tearing in spite of the fact that VSync is on. I love that. You know what? To their credit, I'm really not noticing the FSR-ness of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The render resolution hack is feeling pretty not too hacked together on this. If you asked me what resolution this was running at, I would tell you 4K.
Do you think it helps being outside?
No, because outside I can find distant, skinny, slightly diagonal lines,
the
like
poles and stuff.
yeah, pieces of scaffolding and stuff like that. And look at this. They've done a pretty good job of smoothing it out.
This is also Creation Engine 2, and this is their first time, as far as I know, experimenting with photogrammetry. So some of the objects that they are able to scan with photos are gonna look really good.
Yeah.
I don't think they did it with everything, or sometimes it doesn't feel like they did.
This is clearly I tried for about 10 minutes texture.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff is really clean, looks really cool. Obviously they're gonna spend time on a gun box, right? That looks really good.
Because you're gonna be looking at it fairly closely and fairly often, because you're gonna be looting these the whole game. Sometimes you can kind of feel that part of the game was designed potentially years earlier than other parts of the game. I don't know.
That makes sense. Sorry,
No, you're good.
I'm just trying to poke holes in FSR2 right now.
I think you should go talk to the blue though.
We're not
progress
actually
this.
playing the game, Luke. You do know that, right?
No, I know, but you're still in the
I
sky.
am busy looking at this.
Yeah, but you're gonna
cabling.
see a spaceship coming in, which you might want to see.
Fine.
It's probably up. They come from the sky, usually.
You know you're a right?
Okay, but how'd that feel overall?
I want to adjust my settings.
Okay.
I want to do it
Should
right
we do
now.
that now? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, let's fire up frame view first and see what FPS it's running at. 34, 36. Man, I'm good.
That's about what he said.
Okay, first thing that needs to go, film grain, motion blur. Shadow quality, eh. Sure. We're basically going down to medium. Let's lose the VSync so it doesn't feel quite so laggy.
Would you up the render resolution scale now that you've dropped that stuff, or just take the FPS increase?
No, I want the FPS. I'm running at 34 FPS.
I'm not even playing and it looks rough, so yeah, I agree with that.
Massive kudos. You don't have to restart the game or anything silly like that.
You don't even have
can
to click to save it, it just works.
Oh, wow.
It looks worse, I think.
It does.
What's the performance though? It feels a little better.
It's not much better. Honestly, not that much higher, but I gotta tell you, I don't really pick up the difference in image quality that much.
I think I noticed it in the shadows.
Those look like pretty solidly okay shadows to me. I'm not sure if this applied.
Turn the shadows up, just the shadows.
Sure. Oh, okay, yeah, they're softer.
Yeah, yeah. Without actually being the one playing it, it feels a lot better now, but I think that's just motion blur being off.
That's just motion blur and VSync being off. It's still running at
30
FPS essentially.
So this is recommended,
Yeah.
not minimum.
The Series X can do 4K 30. Todd Howard is a big advocate of high
Yeah, but
fidelity.
the Series X is upscaling. This is 4K 30 by that definition. Can you not?
Oh, it's actually his whole job to do that.
Yeah, he's a pirate.